Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the live. I had an issue of power and technology. Technology, guys. Welcome and welcome to this live. Welcome to this live. I am here. I'm right here. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome to the live. Welcome. Thank you. Let us wait for others to join. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. But I think this I don't know why this screen is not. Thank you. Let us wait for others to come in. Come in and let us have a discussion and learn something. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. We are here. There could be a problem. I don't know. Why are people not coming in? Welcome to the live. Thank you. Tell me from which country you're watching from. Welcome, this is Mama Suji, streaming from Kenya. Kenya is in Africa. Thank you. Tell me from which country you're watching from. Welcome, this is Mama Suji, streaming from Kenya. Kenya is in Africa. Thank you. Tell me from which country you're watching from. Welcome, this is Mama Suji, streaming from Kenya. Kenya is in Africa. Let us have a quorum. Let us have a quorum. We discuss. Let us have a quorum. Just type there. From which country? Hello and welcome. Mama Suji here. Let us have a quorum. Let us have a quorum. We discuss. Let us have a quorum. Just type there. From which country? Hello and welcome. Mama Suji here. Let us have a quorum. Let us have a quorum. We discuss. Thank you. Thank you. The two have already come in. Just tell me from where, if you're from Kenya or wherever country you come from, just indicate that I am from Kenya or I'm from KE, I'm from TZ, meaning Tanzania, I'm from Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you know, UG, Zim, Zimbabwe. Chris from Kenya, thank you. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you. Like the video, comment, and feel free to interact with the dollar sign. Feel free to interact with the dollar sign. Yeah. Welcome. Oh, thank you. Thank you. We are here to discuss something very important. Very, very important. Very, very important. And you can interact with me on the subject matter as well. We are discussing naming, how we name our children, how we are named. How did we get our names? How are we named in Africa? And please feel free to tell me how naming takes place in your zone, in your country, or in your space, village, clan-wise. How does it take place? In our case, we are going to discuss, how did I come to be? How did my name come to be? So feel free to engage. Let us engage at the comment section. Yes. It would be so nice to have a quorum, my people. Let us have a quorum. Thank you for joining. Why are you leaving again? You're supposed to be here. Don't leave. We are discussing naming children in Africa. And we are going to look at a few tribes that are nearby. Few tribes, how they do name. their children. How do we name our children? How? How does? Welcome, welcome. Tell me from which country you are tuning in from. From Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. Just feel free and tell me even how your name came to be, because I'll share with you how mine came to be. Yes. At the comment section, just tell me there how your name came to be. And we shall pick like 2 communities or 3 communities here in Kenya. And then we shall talk. We shall share how the naming take place. How do we name? How was I given my name? How did it come about? Okay. In my community, it is you are named. You can either be named after somebody who has died. And how can that come about? It can come about if during the pregnancy, your mother is pregnant and she keeps on dreaming one person, but that person keeps visiting her, a dead person, the spirit in her sleep, keeps on visiting her throughout the term of that pregnancy. Then when that child is born, will be called after that dead person. For example, if it was a grandmother died or a grandfather died, it doesn't matter whether the child will come out as a boy or as a girl. As long as this dead person has been visiting you in your dreams, you have been conversing with this person in your dreams. When you get that child, you give birth to that child, that child shall inherit that person's, the late's name. Let us give an example. For example, a grandfather in my community maybe is called Charles Onyango, as an example. And he died maybe many years ago. And he comes to visit, let's say, Charles Onyango is my grandfather and is late. And then is my grandfather. And then my mother is expectant with me. So, and she keeps on, thank you for coming, for joining. He keeps on coming into her dreams when she's expecting me at night, when she's sleeping. That grandfather comes to visit, they talk. That when I'm born, for sure, I'll be given Charles Onyango, but Charles will be eliminated. I'll be called Onyango. So even if my name, a Christian name, I'm taken to church, and then I'm given a Christian name, like maybe Susan. So I'll be Susan Onyango, and maybe my father is Otieno, so I'll be Susan Onyango Otieno. You get how the naming comes? Naming after somebody who died. Yeah. And again, naming again comes in with season. So if it's during hunger time where the means of measure is a particular tin and it has a name, If a child is born during that time, you'll be called the name of that teen. For example, there was a time, there was a lot of hunger around in the village. And so when a child was born, during that time, they were calling the child Gorogoro. Gorogoro was a teen, a 2 kg teen. When it's like when people moved from exchange, the butter trade, where you have maize, I have beans, so we can use a certain container. If it's this one, I give you a tin of this of maize, you'll also give me a tin of this of beans. Now they moved from there. Now they were, because of a lot of hunger, they used a tin called Gorogoro. And so the children who were born during that time, they were called Gorogoro. Gorogoro was the means of measure. A tin to measure a 2 kg maize for grinding to turn it into flour for ugali. So the children who are born that time, be it a boy, be it a girl, they are called what? They are given those names of Gorogoro, Gorogoro. And so that is how naming as per the season is done. Then another, still, that is about the season. So it was season of hunger. If it's season of rain, they'll call, if the season of rain, and maybe you get a child when it's raining, you'll call that child Akoth or Okoth. Akoth means rain. Okoth means rain, but for the month. So when a child is born during that time, when it's raining, then that child will be called, if it's a boy, it's called Okoth. If it's a girl, the child is called Akoth. If a child again is born, timing, the time, morning, afternoon, evening, night. Again, a child can be called, if you are born at night and you are a girl, you'll be called Atieno. And if you are a boy, you'll be called Otieno. If the child is born in the morning, if it's a girl, it's called Akinyi. If it's a boy, it's called, very early in the morning, they call them Oduor or Okinyi. Okinyi for boys. But for girls, it's Akinyi. Or Oduor for boys. Then, even at night again, nights can be between 12, from 7 going up to 12 in the night. That child is called Atieno or Oduor. Early in the morning, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, up to 4 o'clock. For a boy, it's called Oduor. For a girl, it's called Atieno. Then, if a child is born, when the sun is a bit hot, between 9 and 3, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., that child, if it's a boy, is called Ochieng. The sun is hot. The sun is there. It's out. So it's called Ochieng. And if it's a girl, that child is called Achieng. Kindly give a video thumbs up. Like the video. I've seen we have people around. Please feel free to engage the $sign, the like sign, those signs up there. You can join the club, be a member of my club, and play around with the $ right there. Yeah. So that is how naming up to 3 o'clock is done. After 3, going up to 6, 6:30, 6:30 in the evening. Yeah. Early evening to late evening. That is 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 and a few minutes to 7. That child, if a child is born at that time, that child will be named Odhiambo for a boy. Odhiambo. Odhiambo for a boy. And Adhiambo, like myself, I'm called Adhiambo. I was born at that time. So, how do you spell that name? Adhiambo, you spell it this way. Adhiambo. Adhiambo. Those are children born between 3 and 7 o'clock East Africa time. That is evening. So they are called Adhiambo. So if a child, if it's a boy, it's O. The first A in the name I've just spelled, you start with O. And so the child will be called Odhiambo. O-D-H-I-A-M-B-O. Odhiambo. Now, if a child is born between 7 and midnight, that child is called Atieno or Otieno. And the spelling for the name is A-T-I-E-N-O. That is Atieno for a girl child. And for the boy child, it's written as O-T-I-E-N-O. Otieno. That is a child born between 7 p.m. and 12 midnight. Okay, now a child born between midnight and 7 in the morning, 7 a.m., that child is called Oduor. No, 7 between 12 and 4. That child is called Oduor for a boy. Odiwor. O-D-I-W-U-O-R. Oduor. And a girl is called Adikinyi. Adikinyi. Adikinyi is A-D-I-K-I-N-Y-I. Adikinyi for a girl. And if it's between 7 in the morning or 4 to 9, it's called Akinyi. Akinyi. Akinyi, which is A-K-I-N-Y-I. Akinyi. That is the name. And if it was raining, it's raining, the spelling is for a girl, it's A-K-O-T-H. Akoth. And for the boy, it is O-K-O-T-H. Okoth. You get it? You get it? How the naming is done. And if the sun is a bit hot, it has matured, the sun has matured, then the child is called Achieng or Ochieng. And Achieng, the spelling is ACHIENG with apostrophe at the end of G, Achieng. And for the boy is Ochieng, OCHIENG with apostrophe, Ochieng. Those are children who are born when the sun is hot. The sun it has matured, is hot. Yeah. And then if the child is born between the sun has now stopped being very hot, it has now moved from hotness to warm. It's kind of warm, it can't burn you, you know. That sun that you normally get your the vitamin D from, yeah? It's normally between 8 and 11, and then in the evening between 3 and 5. That child, if a child is born around that time, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., that child is called Adhiambo. As I've told you, Adhiambo, like myself, or Odhiambo, like somebody outside there was born at around that time. Okay, that is for Luo community. Like the video, give your comment, tell me from which country you're watching from, because I'm streaming this live from Kenya. Kenya is in Africa, and in particular, I'm in a county called Kajiado County, Ngong in Ole Nairi village. That is where I'm seated right now. You get? So, in your country or in your space, how are people named? Give us that in the comment section. How are people named? I've given you how we name our children, how we were named, and how we found it being done. Season, time, occurrence, dreams, we name that way. And others also do name according to the sweet names that are outside there. You can just name your child Atoti. Toto meaning baby, or baby. You just name them like that. But those ones will not be in their identification birth documents. Those ones are sweet names that you just call your child, just appreciating them for who they are, you know. So tell me, like the video, comment, and tell your friends to join the live and have a discussion here. There are people who don't know how names come about. Tell them to join the live. Let them join the live and let us have a discussion. Yeah. There are other communities, like the Luhya communities. They also name according to season. Like somebody, if somebody is, a child is born when it's raining, they are called Wafula. And if that's for a boy, Wafula. Wafula is W-A-F-U-L-A, Wafula. That is for a boy. And for a girl is Nafula. Huh? Nafula or Nafula. N-A-F-U-L-A, Nafula. Huh? And then they also name her according to the occurrence. If they're harvesting maize, it's the time for harvesting, they'll also call them Wekesa, yeah, Wekesa when they're harvesting, and Nechesa when they are, yeah, for girls. So Wekesa is Wekesa, and then Nekesa is Nekesa, Nekesa. Yeah. So that is how some African communities name their newborns. So tell me, thank you for joining. Tell me from which country you are watching from, because I'm watching from Kenya. Kenya is in Africa, and I'm in a county called Kajiado County. We are discussing here how children are named. In the Maasai community, we were told, if you watched the other video by Dennis, he told us the prerogative of naming children is given to the ladies, the honorable ladies of the society, the mamas. They're the ones who have a ceremony for naming their children. They normally have a ceremony for naming that child. So in Luhya still, so we've talked of Nechesa, we've got of Nafula, and they also name according to the dead. If somebody died and that person has come in the dream, and these dreams, my people, these dreams is not necessarily that if that is the mother, the expectant mother will dream. Even the mother-in-law can dream. Even her auntie from far can dream and come and say, I've been told, I've been sent by the late so and so, that the child that is going to be born here. And at times that person even didn't know that there was an expectant lady in that home, and says, I've been sent that the child is going to be born soon in this home, and that child must be named so and so. And you know, that so and so is the late. And normally, things happen because I remember a friend from Luhya community. Her daughter-in-law was coming from Meru, and they had issues with the son, with the husband, who is the son to my friend. And she went away. She went back to Meru. Meru is another county, one of the counties, one of the 47 counties, one of the counties in the 47 counties in Kenya. And in fact, she was pregnant, and so she got the baby while she was in Meru. And the baby kept crying. They could not do nothing. People could not sleep. And so it forced the lady to call her mother-in-law, who is my friend, to intervene. And then she gave the name of the person who had died, whom the child was supposed to be named after. And since she had run away, they didn't have ways of convincing her. And given that she comes from a different tribe, it was a bit difficult. But now the child could not keep quiet. It was screams and screams and screams the whole night. So what did she do? She called the mother-in-law. The mother-in-law gave the name straight away. Called that child so and so. And so the child was named, and the child stopped crying immediately. And so there was peace in the homestead. There was peace because the child now has been named. Yeah? According to what the tradition where the child's biological father comes from requires of that child. And so the child kept quiet. At times also, the occasions where a child is named, but people tend to ignore that name. Again, the child can be hit with some other things. Until now, again, they say, hey, whom did you call this? And why are you not calling the child that name? Start calling the child and you see all these things. The child becomes okay. And so that is also part of the Luhya naming. So if you are a foreigner or coming from a different community and you join that community as a wife, not a son-in-law, a wife, then your child, when your child is born, that child will be named according to the customs of that village. If somebody dreams of a name from very, very far and brings that name, you'll have to oblige and name your child according to that. But as they grow, maybe that name will be away, but for the elders will always be calling that child that particular name. Of course, you'll take your child to church, and the child will be given, shall be given a saint name. Like myself, I was baptized Esther, and confirmation, I was confirmed again Esther. So my saint, my patron saint is Esther. So being given those other names, especially the traditional names, doesn't hinder this child from being baptized and being given a saint name. Yeah. So that is how it is in those communities. I don't know about your community. Kindly, on the chat, give me how it is done in your community. Tell us how your community does that. Let us give ourselves like 2 minutes to give us. I'll be quiet now. Just give us how the naming takes place in your community. Please. Tell us. How does it happen in your community? And is there anything in a name? Yes, there is everything in a name. You know, you can give a child those traditional names. Like I think in Kikuyu community, there's this name, Kinywa or Kanywa. Kinywa or Kanywa. It means somebody who drinks. So it's most likely the child, you know, life is a spirit. And so it's kind of the spirit of that person gets into the child. And that child shall start behaving like that person. You see? So how do you stop that? The name is given, but you take the child to the church. You take the child to church and let the child learn the way of God and then be baptized and then be confirmed. And that patron saint of that child shall protect that child. And that child can grow, not to be a drunkard, like the honor of the name he was given, but will grow in the ways of God. You see? You can, at times a child can be given a name of one person who is very, very harsh, very, very harsh, and the child tends to behave that way. But that can be purified by taking the child to church and let the child be baptized, and so the child will be new again. Yeah? You know? There's everything in a name. There's everything in a name. If you name your child somebody who who was possessed, I guess all those spirits will come to that child. And how do you do that? How do you? And then for others, they'll be like, hey, our child has spirits, spirits for healing people. No, those are demonic. Those are demonic. You have to take your child to church and let the child be purified. So there's everything in a name, especially the names that are come through dreams, the people who are died, you know. Better these other ones for seasons and occurrences and time. Because if it's daytime, you just say Achieng, Otieno, what, all that. But if all your children, you're just giving them the name of the dead, and maybe those people they died do not knowing Christ, then you have an uphill task in bringing up that child. So guys, no one is commenting, no one is telling me in the comment section how you name the children. How do you name your children? How do you name the children? I've told you how we do ours. How do you do it in your country? I know the English people, they just give those sweet English names. Jackton, Samson, Derek, Beatrice, Susan, Caroline, Betty, Anne, Matthew, John, Mark, Stephen, you know. But for us, apart from having those sweet other names, there must be another traditional name. So for your case, how does it go? How does it go? Tell us how it goes. Tell us. Kindly like the video. Feel free to interact with the $sign. Feel free to interact with the $sign. And also join the club. Join. Be a member of my club. Exclusive club. Exclusive club. Please. You see? So there's everything in a name. If you are called a very polite person, that child tends to be a very polite person, very reasonable. And you say, they normally say, just like the person he was named after, just like the person he was named after, just like the person she was named after. So there's everything in a name. There's everything in a name. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about this subject? The subject matter of today is naming. Naming in Africa. Naming. And guys, we have another video that is running, but we are here because this subject should be discussed. It should be discussed. Naming. Naming children in our society. In India, how do you name your children? I just see Patel, Shah. I don't know the genesis of those names. Yeah. Asian countries, how do you do it? How do you name? In the comment section, tell us. Shah. Binubai, Patel. What is the genesis of these names? How do you start naming? Chinese, my Chinese people, How do you name? Ling, Ling, Jing, Chong. How? Are they from dreams? Are they from books? Where are these names from? What is the genesis of your names in China? What are the genesis of your names in India? What are the genesis of your names in, I think, Canada, US? They just those English names. Jackton, Jackson, Jamlek, which are saints' names as well. They are saints' names. Yeah. But this, India, China, Pakistan, other African countries, I think African countries they are similar. They borrow from one another. I think it's season, occurrences, dreams, naming after the dead, and yeah. For Kikuyus, they name according to, even if the father is still alive or the mother is still alive, you can still name the child. It's like Kikuyu is one of the tribes in Kenya. They name like the firstborn son is the name is named after the grandfather, paternal side, and then the firstborn girl is named after the mother, the grandmother, paternal side. And then the other side, they said, no side. And then the second born boy is named after the grandfather on maternal side. And the second born girl is also named after the grandmother, the grandmother, the other side, maternal side. And then the third boy is named after the uncle, the first uncle on paternal side, meaning now it has moved from the immediate to the next. Yeah, and that is why, so it's like, it's the great-grandfather. Yeah, because the firstborn uncle, paternal side, is named after his grandfather. Yeah, so it's a great-grandfather, the third child, the third son. So it goes that way. They name them that way. And there's everything in a name, guys. There's everything in a name. If you name a child after somebody who was a thief, that child tends to be taking pencils from fellow pupils in school. Taking, thieving, because the person that child is named after was a thief. So there's everything in a name. Yeah. If he was a drunkard, if he used to he was a smoker, used to smoke, this child will in his life tend to deviate towards cigarette smoking. You see? So there's everything in a name. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me in the comment section how you name and how the name you give to a child can impact their life, either positively or negatively. Tell me how it happens in your space, in your beautiful, beautiful space. how it happens. Yeah. In your community, in your country, in your tribe, how you do it, please share with us. Share with us how that happens. Because there's everything in a name. If you name a child after somebody who is very hardworking, that child tends to be a hardworking person. Yeah? Not a lazy one, a very hardworking person. That child is here, that child is making this, asking, what else can I do for you? What else can I do? Very helpful. If you name a child after somebody who was very famous in the society, yeah, that child attracts a lot of blessings towards himself and even towards the people around him. For example, if you name a child, somebody who was like a minister in the government, and he helped a lot of people, that child tends to have those characteristics. Somebody, and in fact, in the society, you hear as calling him or her minister, because that person was a minister in the government. And during his tenure in the government, he did wonderful things that was beneficial to the society. Yes, so there's everything in a name. If you name a child a doctor, somebody was a doctor, that child is always referred to as doctor. And you see, it sinks in. When that child goes to school, the subjects he works on well tends to be those ones that will lead him to be a medicine doctor. Yeah. Doctor. To work in hospitals, taking care of people. And that child tends to be very caring most of the time. Most of the time you find him very caring. Yeah. If somebody injures himself, you see the child running to get cotton wool to try and wipe that wound and all that. Because that name, he was given a good name, and that name is leading him or she somewhere. You get? So there's everything in a name. There's everything in a name. Or what do you think? What do you think? What do you think about this topic of today? Can we have a discussion another time again? When we have a big quorum, big quorum. Can we do that? Can we have, yeah, and we talk about them and we enlighten ourselves and we enlighten the society that there's everything in a name. A name. There's everything in a name. So we have to be careful. For example, if somebody, a drunkard, somebody who was a failure in the society, died and comes to your dream, especially if you're coming from my tribe, then you have to rebuke and send him away, so that you don't name that child that name. Because the child will be like him. If this person was not a successful person, you are supposed to rebuke it in the name of Jesus. Rebuke and chase the spirit away, so that you don't name your child that name. And protect yourself with the word of God. Protect yourself with the Holy Spirit. Protect yourself by reading the Bible and rebuking the bad spirits that come to you. And that way, you'll be able to get your child, and then you do what? You just give them the name, the saint's name, and the timings, like Atieno, Otieno, Achieng, Okoth, Akoth, you know, those names. And then you take them to church at early age so that they can be nurtured in the ways of God. What is your take? What is your take? My people, what is your take on this topic? Yeah? Kindly like the video. Comment on this video. Comment on this video. Like the video, and just support. And if you are here, thank you for passing by, and kindly subscribe to the channel so that we can grow together. And feel free to interact with the dollar sign there. Yeah, just feel free, and you can even join the club. Yeah, join my community so that we can work together. It's never easy as one person, and when you have friends globally, it feels nice because that becomes your family, that becomes your community. And so the topic of today, we were discussing, those who have just joined, we are discussing naming of children in our society. Naming of children in our society. Yeah. Naming children in our society. And we've discussed the impact of the names. The impact of names. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming in and joining the discourse. Naming of our children and its impact in their lives, and how we can go about it, and how we can dodge the calamities that can come with bad names, bad spirits. Yes. So I'm here. I'm still here waiting for you to join me. Waiting for you to join me. Yes. So I think we can also check in the Holy Book and find out how people used to give to name their children in the olden days. Before and after, BC and AD. BC is before Christ and AD is after death. So I think you can also consult the Holy Book and find out how the naming was done and how it was affecting the holders of those names, and how the remedies that were in place in case the name given to a child was affecting their growth. So thank you. Thank you, people. Thank you for joining the live for today. Let us meet again, because we are going to be doing this live. And feel free to comment, feel free to interact with the $sign, and feel free to join my community, my club. Thank you, and let us meet in the next live. Most probably tomorrow we shall discuss we shall be discussing many things in our live stream. So thank you so much, and have a good night, a blessed one, full of God's favor. Bye.